So welcome to today's video where I'm going to do a run through of how I like to edit my images. Just before we jump into it, I'm not a professional photographer and the things that you're about to see are just self-taught. This is how I like my images to look. If there's something you see that you don't understand, then ask in the comments below, and if there's something that you see I'm doing and you think, well Chris, why on earth are you doing it like that? This is a better way. I'm always up for learning. So be sure to drop in the comments and say, Chris, I think you would benefit by doing this, and I would really appreciate that. And again, the point of this video is you may see something the way I do something and you go, okay, that makes sense. So with all that being said, let's jump in and start the edit. So this is the image that we're going to be working on today. If for some reason it looks like my mouse isn't clicking in the right place or it looks like it's missing, hopefully it's not too distracting for you guys, so I apologise about that. So before I sort of start working on an image, what I want to do is go to lens correction, and then I'm going to enable profile correction. That's going to get rid of any warping, and then I'm going to click remove chromatic aberration. Basically what that's going to do, I don't know if you can see on your screen, there's like purple fringing that's going on here. By clicking that, that's going to help deal with that, so hopefully you could see that on your screen. So once I've done that, I'm then going to actually crop this image, because I thought I liked the window at the top, but I actually find it a little bit distracting. So we'll actually put Murphy's eyes on that top third line. So I'm happy with where I'm at with that. So you can see we've got these things that are on the ground. So basically what I'm going to do is go around the image and remove anything that I find distracting. So you got that thing over there. We have this highlight that I believe is coming from this window. We have this thing at the top of the screen, which I find that a little bit distracting. So let's go with the spot removal tool. And then what we're going to do, we're going to remove that just there. This computer will select where it thinks best, but it doesn't always find the best place, which I'm happy with that. Let's remove that one just there. Again, I'm not too happy where it's selected. If we zoom in, and then we'll descale the selection tool, and then we'll get rid of that one. It's not done a good job again. So we'll manually move to where I want. Let's match that line up. Perfect. Zoom out, make the brush bigger, and then I'm going to get rid of that there because I find that a little bit distracting. It's actually not done a bad job of selecting that for me. So we have this weird shadow line that I find again distracting, so I'm going to reduce the brush a little bit, and then I'm literally just going to select straight across here, and then if we go up, then basically what I'm trying to do is just eliminate that hard line that was there, which I will show you, it'll make sense in a moment. So let's just get rid of this at the top, and then I'll show you the before and after, and hopefully it'll make sense of what I'm trying to achieve here. So it's done a shocking job of selecting where it thinks it needs to. So actually let's push that up because I'm not too happy. Let's start again on that one because I got that one wrong. Let's get rid of that. Right, let's try again. That's better. Let's move it to where I think I want to select. There, perfect. Okay, let's get rid of that. So if I show you a before and after, so if I zoom in, see there was a hard line along here. Obviously I've got rid of that thing, but there was like a hard line. Where that hard line's gone now, it's more of a subtle line, and then that and then that highlight that was on the wall has now gone, so I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is, once I've cropped it and then removed anything that I don't like, I'm going to go over to the left, and then I'm going to use some presets. If you're not sure what presets are, basically they are preset selections that's going to get your image sort of where you want it. It's going to put a base layer down, saves you going in every time and reselecting everything, so that's what I like to use. When they first come in, they're not always right, so let's jump in and then I'll show you the things that I like to correct as we go along. So the one that I want to use is mood 2. So when it first comes in, that doesn't look right to begin with. So we have to just have a little play around. This just gets the base layer of what you want. So let's delete the graduation filter because we don't want those. So let's close that down. So where we've got basics, what I'm going to do is just ramp the shadows right up. It might not look right to begin with, but it just brings the details out in the shadowed areas. And then what I'm going to do is bring the blacks down just a little bit more to about 11. So we'll close that, we'll go to tone curve, and then I'm going to bring the shadows down just a touch, maybe not quite that much, about -9. Happy with that. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to increase, not that much, I'm going to increase the colour, the temperature, because I wasn't happy with where it was, and then the vibrance is -8. I'm going to go about -4. So I think I'm happy with where that is, so I'm going to go to adjustment brush, and then I'm going to select iris enhance. I'm going to double click saturation because I don't actually want to change the colour of his eyes, I just want to change the brightness. So let's make the brush a little bit smaller. Again, I'm just trying to run through this as quick as I can just to give you an idea of how I edit an image. So let's go down. So this is, there's your before, there's your after, there's your before, there's your after. So let's zoom out. Then we're going to go new. Going to double click effects, so that will reset everything. And then what I'm going to do is drag clarity down to -23-ish, and then about -8, something like that. And then I'm going to make the brush really big, and then I'm just going to paint completely over the image like that. Let's double check I've got everywhere, which I have. Let's just descale the brush down, and then I'm going to click erase, zoom in on Murphy's eyes because I don't want to affect his eyes. Again, if you're going to do this, just take your time with it, as I'm trying to rush because I don't want to hold you guys up for too long. So I've removed that effect, so that's not going to affect Murphy's eyes. So we've got before, after, before, after. So it's just adding a little bit of softness to the image. So I'm happy with where that is at the moment. So we're going to go to radial filter. What I'm going to do now is try and help Murphy stand out from the background. So just for now, just to show you what I'm going to do, maybe a little bit too big. Let's rotate. So if I press O, it's going to change. It's going to show me. So anywhere that's red is going to be affected. So I'm going to go back over to the right side. Then I'm going to tick invert, which now that's actually going to change where Murphy is. So let's get rid of the red so we can see what we're doing. Let's increase the shadows, maybe not quite that much, and a little bit, and then we're going to increase the exposure around there just to give Murphy a little bit of a glow. And then we're going to go new, and what I'm going to do this time is make this selection a lot bigger. I'm going to rotate it round, and then if I press O, it's going to show me where the red is being affected. Anything that's not red is not going to be affected. Let's turn that off, and then I'm going to drag my exposure down to there. The key with this is to make multiple layers of this, because if I was to just really bring that right down, it's just going to look weird because there's only one. Whereas if I can build it up, which I will show you, so if I click new, let's make a new one. So you want to try and make a few of these if you can, at all different sizes and slightly different shapes. So let's make that a little bit wider. We won't rotate this one round this time. Let's move it up a touch. Let's get rid of the red so we can see how we're adjusting it. So now I'm going to bring the exposure down again to about there, and then we're going to make maybe one more, make it a little bit smaller this time. So let's press O to see the red, lift it up, and then just make it a touch bigger, get rid of the red, and then bring that down on the exposure just a little bit. So I'm going to show you the before and after. So there's your before, there's your after, there's your before, and there's your after. So I'm happy with where that is. So back over on the right hand side where we have effects, this is like a vignette. So I'm actually going to bring that down to increase a vignette, and then midpoint, let's drag that completely down to the left. Roundness, I actually want to push that towards Murphy, so I'm going to go slightly right about there. Feather, I want to feather it, and then highlights, I actually don't want to affect the highlights, so I'm going to push that right up. So let's have a look. Am I happy with that? That's it. Something I'm actually not happy with is the highlights. See how they just look strange over there. So what I'm going to do actually is increase the highlights just a little bit. I'm going to go about there, and then I'm actually going to bring the shadows down just a little bit more, about there. So let's close that down, and then there's your before and there's your after. So your left is your before, so we got rid of the distractions, I cropped it, and then I added a preset, and then I've obviously edited it, that preset, and there's your before and there's your after. So I hope you enjoyed today's video of seeing how I like to edit my images. It was sort of a quick edit, so hopefully you got some value from it. Be sure to hit that like button if you did. If you want to see some 8 tips for photography, be sure to click the top video just there. If you want to learn about composition, be sure to click the lower video there. If there's anything I missed, again, or if anything you want to add, be sure to drop a comment below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, it gives me lots of support. And guys, I will see you soon.